Where is the beauty in chaos? That is a heavy question, isn't it? When literally everything around you feels chaotic, disorganized, and just totally overwhelming, where are you supposed to look? But then, right on the heels of that struggle, comes this beautiful, uplifting plea: teach me the song of peace. It's this immediate, deliberate pivot from the darkness of a situation straight into the active search for its remedy. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a profoundly moving piece called Beauty Thinks. It's a poem that completely challenges us to fundamentally flip how we view the struggles and obstacles we face every day. Instead of seeing a brick wall, this text is asking us to find the hidden lesson within the struggle. It's an incredible journey from chaos straight to grace, and we're going to break down exactly how it all works. Our source material for this journey today is a beautiful post titled Beauty Thinks, dated September 21, 2024. But, before we really get into the profound dualities of the text itself, we absolutely have to understand the brilliant mind behind these words. Because her worldview, it's woven into every single line of this poem. Her name is Oluyomi Ola David, and she proudly identifies as a Nigerian with a massive, deep love for people. And what's really vital to understanding her poetry is that she is an incredibly solutions-oriented person. Her whole background involves generating real-world solutions, influencing policy and strategy, and driving clarity in global development. So she isn't just writing about abstract pie-in-the-sky concepts, she writes with a mind that is totally geared toward practical transformation. On top of that, she is deeply spiritually grounded. She states so beautifully that her Father God owns and rules the universe. He is the wheel within my wheels. She brings all of this, her love for humanity, her strategic mind, and her unshakable faith, right into her poetry. Okay, let's jump right in and look at how she transforms the physical environment. We start with the heavy stuff, chaos and darkness. And let's be real, it is so easy to just get stuck there. But notice her immediate vocal contrast and her absolute, resolute pursuit of light. When she's faced with darkness, she doesn't just ask where the brilliance went. She actively demands, teach me the way of light. She is taking every negative state and framing it as an opportunity for an active, uplifting plea. And she extends that exact same mindset to the physical elements around us. Take winter, for example. Winter can be brutally cold, dormant, isolating. But she views winter not as a dead end, but as a prompt to actively fan the flame. And then she takes something entirely discarded, trash. Where's the treasure in trash, right? Well, for her, it becomes this urgent call to learn the green cycle. You can totally see her solutions-oriented background screaming through the text right here. She's actively looking for sustainability and renewal in the very things the rest of the world has thrown away. I actually want to pause on that for just a second. Think about your own life. We all face our own versions of winter, right? Those cold, stagnant periods in our lives, maybe in our careers or our relationships. But how often do we actually use those moments as a reason to fan the flame? How often do we sift through the discarded trash of our failed projects and look for the green cycle of a fresh start? She's really challenging us here to shift our default response to adversity. Moving along, watch how her journey builds from the outside environment right into our personal character. Here, she tackles moral failings, things like vice and sloth. And again, she absolutely refuses to wallow in the guilt of these failings. She treats them as mere starting points. Actually, scratch that, it's more like a springboard. If there is vice, she asks to be taught the virtue of life. If there's sloth, just pure laziness, she asks to be taught to make goods. She's turning stagnation into this desperate plea for productive personal action. Now, this next part is absolutely crucial. She takes on the concept of ignorance. Where is the strength in ignorance, she asks. And her remedy? Teach me my history. She playfully but so profoundly defines ignorance not just as a lack of random trivia or general knowledge, but as a state of being disconnected from your own origins. For her, true strength isn't just about learning facts. It lies in understanding your history, your roots. And that just speaks volumes about her identity and her core belief that real transformation has to start with knowing exactly where you came from. Then there's the confusion of a mixture. We live in a world absolutely bombarded with mixed messages, ambiguity, and overwhelming information, right? Where is the purity in any of that? Well, her strategic, policy-driven mind really shines here. She doesn't just accept the mixture. She actively demands to distill truth. And to distill something is to boil it all the way down to its most pure, concentrated essence. That takes serious work, and she is volunteering for that work.
What's super fascinating to me is how she shifts gears here into the internal struggles of the mind and spirit. Where's the melody in complaints? Have you ever noticed how incredibly draining constant complaining is? It's exhausting. She takes that heavy, dragging feeling and counters it with a mindful shift. Teach me a grateful thought. Just one thought of gratitude is enough to find the melody again.
And right alongside complaints, she addresses folly. Where is the prudence in folly? Acting a fool. She defines folly not as this permanent, fatal character flaw that ruins you forever, but simply as a temporary absence of prudence. And the cure? The active acquisition of good sense. It's just this incredibly optimistic, forgiving way to view human error. If you're messing up, you don't need condemnation, you just need a quick lesson in good sense to correct your course.
So this brings us to a really beautiful highlight of her spiritual foundation. Where is the answer in braggadocio? Braggadocio, that loud, arrogant, empty boasting. It's basically the sheer noise of the modern ego. She completely bypasses all that noise, contrasting it with the quiet, powerful grace of humble prayer. The answer isn't found by shouting the loudest. For her, it's found in yielding, in humility, and in that spiritual connection to the wheel within her wheels that she mentioned earlier.
But all of this leads us to what I think is the most difficult question of the whole piece. It's one thing to find virtue in vice or a green cycle in trash. But what happens when beauty encounters genuine, unadulterated hatred? Can her framework actually hold up against the absolute worst of human nature? And here is her powerful conclusion, the ultimate challenge. Where is the grace in hatred? And her ultimate grace, teach me the nature of love. Even in the darkest, most oppressive presence of hatred, she firmly believes that grace can still be found. Not by fighting hatred with more hatred, but by actively seeking to understand and embody the nature of love. It is just a stunning testament to her worldview that she outright refuses to let hatred be a dead end. The poem ends simply with the word beauty. And that really synthesizes her entire message. What we learn from Oluyomi Oladevid today is that beauty isn't just an aesthetic. It's not just something pretty to look at. Beauty is an active state of mind. Beauty thinks. It processes. It encounters chaos, darkness, trash, complaints, and hatred, and it rolls up its sleeves and actively works to extract peace, light, sustainability, gratitude, and love. Beauty finds the lesson in every single struggle. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I really want to leave you with this final thought based on her incredible framework. The very next time you face chaos, or you're stuck in the deep winter of a difficult project, or you just encounter overwhelming negativity, what are you going to do? What will you allow your next struggle to teach you? Will you complain, or will you ask to be taught the song of peace?